Hello everyone, and welcome to Kenny's Movie Adventures. As maybe you can tell, things look a little bit different today. And all has to do with the movie I'm reviewing. Today's movie is about Pleasantville. Set in a black and white world of the 1950s, Pleasantville gets changed when two 1990s kids visit and start to bring color to their world. David and his twin sister Jennifer are pretty much your basic 1990s teenagers. Jennifer is the traditional rebellious slutty brat type, and David is pretty much the shy introverted type with an unusual obsession. In this case, with the fictional 1950s TV show, Pleasantville. The two teens get in a fight and break the TV remote. Out of nowhere, this TV repairman, Don Knotts in a great cameo role, shows up with a brand new remote. The new remote sends David and Jennifer into Pleasantville, and they end up bringing modern ideas and values into the old-fashioned world of Pleasantville, and the black and white TV world starts to get a little more colorful. To start off with, there are several instances of implied sexual content, and we get a glimpse at several nude paintings. The mother of the Pleasantville family ends up having an affair with the soda fountain owner, who turns into an artist when things start changing to color, and he eventually does a huge stylistic nude painting of her on the window of the soda fountain. After seeing the painting, a group of young men start harassing the mom, and David thugs the leader of the group, and blood is seen coming out of his nose. There's also a healthy smattering of cussing, including over a dozen OMGs, one outright misuse of the Lord's name, a couple H words, a couple S words, one B word, and something that sort of sounded like a muffled F-bomb, but I'm really not sure. Jennifer, who's a teenager, is also seen smoking at the beginning, and at another point she mentions wanting a cigarette. To start out with, the main thing I didn't like about this movie is that it sells the idea that there was something wrong with people in the 1950s, as though the fact that they didn't talk about sex or display it outright in the TV shows meant that they were somehow repressed and ignorant. In fact, after some initial hesitation on David's part, throughout the entire movie, the world turning to color, which generally occurred after something related to sex or in some cases violence, is treated as a positive thing, and from every angle it is intimated that the loss of innocence is something to be celebrated. The movie wants us to believe Pleasantville, which was like a paradise when everything was in black and white, it was always 76 degrees and sunny, the basketball team couldn't lose, and everyone had their happy little routines, etc., is somehow better when things aren't as perfect, as happens when things turn to color. The movie has some interesting echoes of the story of Adam and Eve. At one point you even have a girl giving David an apple. And it even brings up some other topics that I think would be interesting to discuss. Now, from an artistic standpoint, I enjoyed the visual aspect of the film. The mix of black and white and color was pretty cool. The acting was pretty decent, but fairly unremarkable. Though, I will say, because David is played by Tobey Maguire, who would later go on to play the original Spider-Man, I spent the first half of the movie going, "Spidey!" every time he showed up on screen. I am that nerd, okay? Just sorry. The story, while intriguing, left a number of gaping plot holes, and at the end, it seemed like David had learned something that helped him when he returned to the 1990s, but other than how to wipe his mother's tears away, I can't really tell you what it was that he supposedly learned. Also, on the positive side, after she has pretty much totally corrupted everyone's world, Jennifer suddenly decides that she no longer wants to be a slut. Wait, what? Okay, that's nice, I guess. Overall, I think this movie would be good for a group of grown-up friends to watch and use as a discussion starter, if you happen to have the sort of friends who like to do that sort of thing, as it addresses several interesting, and sometimes controversial, topics. But on the whole, I would have to say this movie is a no in my book. Doesn't matter what you say. Sometimes black and white can be better. That should about wrap it up for this time. I hope you enjoyed this. And join me next time for another of Kenny's Movie Adventure.